morning, everyone. I am way too short for how high up that microphone was. There we go. Good morning. Welcome to Building Community Day 2025. I am so excited to see all of you here. I am so excited we have made it to May. Believe it or not, guys, it is May 2nd. For those of you who do not know me, I am Avery Christensen. I run organizational development and employee training here at the college, which means I have the most fun job of being able to do all of these professional development and employee recognition and events like this, which I absolutely love. So I am your adventure coordinator for today. If you need me, just do your best goose impression and I'll know. Couple of things before we get started. This is going to have an interactive component. So there are notebooks and pens at the front. If you happen to not have your own, feel free to grab one. There's also a QR code posted at the front to check in for your attendance for today, just so we can kind of keep an eye on how many people are attending sessions, so I know if I need to book bigger spaces in the future. I also invite all of us to take a moment, close your eyes if you need to, check in with your body, make sure that you are feeling comfortable, that you're ready for this. If you need to hydrate or shift or move, now's the best time to do so. But I just invite you to check in with your body. And finally, you've probably seen it all in the schedule. Blair Kaplan is doing our keynote engagement today, and she does ask to have a quick content warning ahead of time, since her talk will cover some sensitive and potentially triggering or sensitive subjects, including drug addiction and death. So if at any point you're feeling emotionally elevated or you're feeling uncomfortable, you feel like you need to step out, we do invite you to do so. You are not locked into this room with us for the whole time. If you need to step out, take a moment for yourself, we highly encourage you to do so. Without further ado, I'd like to bring Dr. Yvonne Terrell-Powell to the stage to do our land acknowledgement.
You already know the drill. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right. I'm going to turn to the left, because the left seemed a little still focusing on their body, because you know they told us to kind of get focused on their body. Good morning.
Good morning.
I tell people I'm old school. Remember the days they'd be like, make you stand and try to do it? So we're going to try to skip that, right? And good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, I like that sound. Here we go. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Ooh. I know you all got it. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, way to go. You know, I didn't feel that well yesterday, and I was like, but I got to get to Building Community Day. Yeah, and so I was like, okay, then I'm going to use my energy with all of you this morning. You can thank me later. I want to remind you that if you enjoy the sun, that there is sunshine out there. I know I was a sun goddess in another life. If there was another life, I know that was me. And so I want to remind you all to enjoy the sun and to enjoy each other. Like, I don't have a schedule today. Let me say that again. I don't have a schedule today. So I get to laugh with you today. I get to talk with you today. I get to enjoy you today. And I am asking you to do the same. Enjoy each other today. Laugh a lot. I love to laugh. So laugh a lot today. All right. Let's take a deep breath. Come on. There we go. I'm going to ask you to take a deep breath on this one and give me an extra breath, and then hold it for 4 and come down for 4. So up for 4. One more. Release for 4. And pause. Up for 4. Hold for 4. Release for 4. And pause. And I'm gonna give you another little trick. When you release, blow it out your mouth. You know, sometimes you'll go up, and then just kind of bring it out your nose, and blow it out and go a little slower. So let's go up for 4. One more up. Hold for 4. Release for 4. All right. We acknowledge the Coast Salish tribes, bands, and First Nations people, including the Snohomish, Duwamish, Tulalip, Suquamish, Snoqualmie, and many others, and their successors, as the original inhabitants of the land where Edmonds College sits and where the diverse communities we serve live, study, and work. Since time immemorial, the Coast Salish peoples have hunted, fished, gathered, and taken care of these lands. We respect their sovereignty, their right to self-determination, and honor their sacred spiritual connection with the land and water. We will strive to be honest about our past mistakes and bring about a future of inclusive Indigenous partnerships that includes their families, stories, and voices to form a more just and equitable society. This acknowledgement only becomes meaningful when combined with accountable relationships and informed actions that support student success and community engagement. This is a first step in acknowledging our history, honoring this land, and sustaining our ongoing relationships with Indigenous people. Give me up for 4. 1 at the top. Hold for 4. Release for 4. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you. We still have a few seats available if you want to come in. I see 3, 4 here, a couple of there. In the audience, I see at least 2 or 3 of them. So, yeah, this is a long session, so if you want to find a seat. Well, thank you. So good to see all of you. Before I make my formal remarks, I want to welcome our colleagues we don't get to see on this campus that much, our Head Start colleagues. So who's from Head Start? Thank you all for being here. I visited 5, do you know that we are the only agency had the whole Snohomish County Head Start program, which serves low-income family, children, and the whole family actually. And we have 6 different sites outside our campus, well, 5, 1 on our campus. And we serve, our capacity is 483, and right now we are at 472, 98% capacity. So thank you for all the hard work that you all do. I really enjoyed meeting all of you last week, and children and all of that, so thank you. So before I begin, I want to take a moment to acknowledge the uncertainty and anxiety many of you may be feeling right now. Between the state budget situation, changes at the federal level, and ongoing questions around funding and policy. I know there's a lot weighing on your minds. These are real challenges, and it's okay to feel the weight of them. I know I am feeling it as well. That's why today matters so much. Thank you for being here, and thank you for the work you do every single day to support our students. Today is a bit different from our usual pace, and that's a good thing. We have set aside this day, as we do every year, Building Community Day, to pause and focus on something just as important, us. The people who make this place run, people behind every syllabus, every schedule, every department, every service. When you talk to students, and I do a lot, they would tell you that it's not just the academics that define their experience here, it's the people. The advisors who go the extra mile, instructors who care deeply, the staff who treat them like they matter because they do. That same sense of belonging that we try to build for our students, we need it for ourselves too. A healthy community does not just happen, it's built with care, with listening, and with trust. And that's why we are here today, to reconnect, to learn about each other, and to remind ourselves that we are in this together. This year more than ever, I believe we need to make space for connection. The work is hard. The world is complex. But we don't have to carry it all alone. As we face challenges, we are better when we face them together as a unified, collaborative, and caring community. So today, I invite you to participate with openness. Step out of your usual role. Ask someone about their journey. Share something of your own. These moments of genuine connection are how strong communities are built. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the heart you bring to this work. And thank you for being part of Edmonds College family. Thank you.
Can you hear me? Sort of. Better? Awesome. My name's Debbie Kuhlman. If I don't know you, I'm an instructional designer here. I was also one of the co-chairs for TEDx Edmonds College. It is my honor to introduce our keynote speaker today, Blair Kaplan Venables. The name and the face may sound familiar to you, as this is her third trip to Edmonds College in the last year. And every trip has involved speaking here on stage. She was one of our TEDx speakers, and she also attended our TEDx Speaker Summer Camp this summer, and it has been an absolute honor to get to know her. Blair is a British Columbia-based grief and resilience expert and coach, motivational speaker, and the founder of the Global Resilience Project. Her expertise has been featured on media platforms like Forbes, TEDx, CBC Radio, Entrepreneur, and Thrive Global. She's named the top grief and resilience expert of the year 2024 by the IAOTP. USA Today listed Blair as one of the top 10 conscious female leaders to watch, and she empowers others to be resilient from stages all around the world. My Story, which is a television show available on Amazon Prime Video, Apple TV Plus, and Google Play, showcases Blair's life story. She is the co-host of Resilient AF with Blair and Alana podcast, and specializes in helping people strengthen their resilience muscle using scientifically proven methods, and guides grieving high performers with her Navigating Grief framework. The Global Resilience Project's award-winning book series are international bestsellers, and her fourth book, Resilient AF, Stories of Resilience, Volume 2, was published in January 2025. In her free time, you can find Blair writing in nature, traveling the world, and helping people strengthen their resilience muscles. It is my pleasure to welcome to the stage, yet again, the amazing and resilient Blair Kaplan Venables.
Thank you for the introduction. You're probably thinking, free time? What free time? So I'm not going to stand behind this because I need a booster seat. Hold on, let me just get going here. So, who here was at the TED Talk? So for some of you, this may be familiar, a good refresher, but it's going to be a bit more interactive because it's more than 8 minutes. She just read that, so I'm not going to leave it on that. But I'm going to share a story with you, and just to reiterate, my story is quite heavy, and if you feel feelings, big feelings, and you need to leave the room, please just get up, leave the room, take care of yourself. I'm not offended. I'm also going to be here after if you want to talk about anything, and if you need support and you want help finding a mental health professional, I'm here to help you find that person. I'm the daughter of a man who lived with a drug addiction and a child of divorce. I was born and raised in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Has anyone been there? Does anyone know where that is? Go Jets. Anyone watch hockey? Okay, the Jets are doing really well. It's our hockey team. I don't live there now, but I'm always a Jets fan. But I was very close with my dad. I'm the oldest daughter. And my dad was a very successful diamond dealer and gemologist. He was using software to appraise jewelry in the 80s, which was essentially unheard of. Someone showed my dad a way to work longer hours and make more money, and that was with cocaine. The cocaine eventually turned into regular usage. He eventually couldn't do the drug through his nose, so he started injecting drugs through his veins. He ran out of veins, his veins stopped working that way, so he switched to smoking crack. When I was 7 years old in the early 90s, my dad's addiction was so bad that he sold his business. He left our family and was in and out of my life. I was very lucky to have a support network, really supportive aunts, uncles, grandparents, a community, education system. But no one sat me down and told me, your dad isn't well. He loves you anyways. I was very close with him, but all of a sudden he wasn't there. He wasn't there to tuck me in. He used to sing me the Ants Go Marching song, you know, the ants go marching one by one. One of my only happy memories, actually. He'd sing me that before bed. And my dad would make me promises. Blair, I'll pick you up. We'll go to McDonald's. And I'd get dressed up. Where I'm from, it gets to minus 40 Celsius and Fahrenheit. I think it's the same. I'd be waiting in my bundled up parka by the door. Blair, I'm running late. Blair, I'm running late. And then he wouldn't show up. Blair, I promise I'm going to come to your birthday party. I'll never forget. The roller rink was my favorite place, which is weird because I'm a very uncoordinated person, but it was my favorite place to have birthday parties. And my dad promised he'd come to my 8th birthday party. And I remember I would do a lap of the roller rink and then sit by the door and wait. And then do another lap and sit by the door. And he never came. And I came to the conclusion that my dad no longer loved me. My dad no longer loved me. So as you can imagine, my formative years, I grew up with a lot of anxiety, abandonment issues, depression. I became a people pleaser, and various other health issues that were not diagnosed as a kid in the early 90s. And as I grew up, my dad was in and out of my life, sometimes showing up, sometimes not, and I hated him. I wanted him to die. I hated him. And the adults around me really didn't enforce any positive talk around him. You know, why do I want him to be around? He doesn't love me. So fast forward, I went to school for public relations at the University of Winnipeg, and I worked for this little company called Lululemon. And I helped open the store in Winnipeg, which was really cool. And when I finished university, they promoted me. And I moved from Winnipeg to Edmonton, probably another city that most of you don't know. But they had the biggest store in the company at the time at West Edmonton Mall, which is like Mall of America, but for Canada, if you can picture it. And Edmonton was just like Winnipeg and very cold, and I was like, why am I here? And I made my way to Vancouver. But before I went to Vancouver, what's really cool about Lululemon, and I'm going to say then, because I'm not sure now, but they're very big into personal development and professional development. Has anyone here ever worked for Lululemon or know someone who does? It's a really cool company. So I only worked there 2005 to 2008, so things are probably a little different now. But they sent me to this thing called the Landmark Forum. Anyone know the Landmark Forum? Okay, so I was living in Edmonton, middle of the country, And they're like, Blair, do you want to go to Vancouver? We're going to send you to the Landmark Forum. You're going to go see the head office at Lululemon. And in my head, I'm like, and I'm going to go party with my best friends for Halloween. I'm going to be a loonie, which is our dollar coin. Like, I had a gold lame outfit. I was like, yes, I will take a free trip to Vancouver, no problem. Did I care about professional development? No, I was 22. I wanted to party with my best friend in Vancouver on a free trip. Who doesn't love a free trip, right? Maybe, has your employer ever sent you on a free trip? Ever? Like, yeah, like it's the best because you don't have to pay for things and they like reimburse you for like food. So, okay, I'm in Vancouver. I go to the Landmark Forum. It seems kind of culty, hokey pokey. I had no intentions of, my intention was to sit there and get through it. And I can't even tell you the exact moment this happened, but something clicked. And I was given the tools that I needed to forgive my dad. And we had a break, and I'll never forget it. I ran to this grocery store. I said, can I borrow a phone? I, for some reason, didn't have a cell phone with me. And I knew my mom's calling card number, and I like dialed the gazillion numbers you have to dial. Remember calling cards? I called my dad. I don't know. It was like I felt like 100 numbers. And I was crying, and I said, Dad, I'm sorry for ever hating you. I'm sorry for ever wanting you to die. I accept you for who you are, and I love you no matter what, and I'm willing to accept whatever relationship you can give me. And so he cried, I cried, I realized I'm in public. I'm like, let's talk about this when I'm back at my hotel tonight. And we continued the conversation, and I just said, I'm done carrying that. I'm done carrying that burden of anger and hate. And I can't even tell you the moment it clicked, but it did. And from that moment on, my dad and I talked all the time. I then moved to Vancouver because I fell in love with it because, well, you know, like this area looks like Vancouver. Like, who doesn't love it? It's not minus 40. There's ocean and mountains and it's pretty, a little rainy, but better than minus 40. My dad started to come visit me. In fact, he would drive from Winnipeg, so the middle of Canada, out to Vancouver. He came to visit me more than my mom, who raised me. And we developed the most beautiful relationship because I just accepted him. And I'll never forget, I had him sleep over, obviously because he was staying over, and he was sleeping on my couch. And I remember looking over going, this is weird. I actually don't know this man at all. Like, I don't know him. And over the first few days of our first sleepover visit, I got to know him. And I learned about addiction and his addiction. And I realized my dad loved me. That entire time, my dad loved me, which was just so simple. And so we got to know each other. We got really close. He walked me down the aisle with my mom at my wedding 8 years ago. I never thought he would do that. And at the end of 2018, we learned he was terminally ill. He had COPD and lung cancer. So smoking crack for 40 years is very bad for you, in case you didn't know. You might die. So, and he was very resilient. Like, I got, throughout the course of our relationship, I got a lot of calls. Your dad is in the coma in the hospital, prepare to come home. And then he'd wake up. He's like, I'm here. I'm like, oh, okay. So, but this was the, like, you are at the end. How is that fair? I wanted my dad in my life. I decided I hated him, wanted him to die, forgave him, got my dad back in my life, and now he's going to die. Your words, what you say matter, by the way. Be careful what you want, right? And so this time I did something kind of like what you're not supposed to do, and I let the skeletons out of the closet. Because back in the 90s, when my dad was living with active addiction, we didn't talk about it. My dad was told, disappear and fix your problems. Like, I didn't know about it. No one really knew about it. And so this time, I started to share our story. I started to share our story of my dad's addiction, my forgiveness, and our resilience to anyone that would listen. Like anyone, over coffee, strangers at the store. But what was happening was really powerful. I was getting feedback. Blair, your story inspired me, and I want to fix things with my mom before they die. Blair, your story inspired me to get a therapist. Your story inspired me to choose sobriety. I'm also 6.5 years sober, by the way. Breaking the generational curse. And what was happening was people were sharing their stories with me in those conversations and then saying, I don't know why I'm telling you this, I've never shared it before. And that felt really good. So I said, Dad, we have something special. What if we write a book and we gather stories of resilience from around the world, and we start the book with your story and we end the book with my story, and when you're no longer here, we have a way to still inspire people. So he's like, sure. So I started working on our first book. A little pause here. Up there, that's my little sister, Alana. She's the mental health director of our project. That's my mom, that's me. The middle is my dad and his mom, who's still alive, thank God. She's in her 90s, and me, and this is one of the keynotes I gave the first time I kind of shared our story publicly in the Jewish community in Winnipeg, which is where I grew up. And then that's us at not a roller rink birthday party, but a McDonald's birthday party, me and my parents. So the reason I just did that pause is because of what I'm about to share is really heavy. And so my dad is dying. I'm working on this project. I also have a public relations agency. So now I'm putting it out there. I am resilient. I am resilient. I am very resilient. So I announced the project. My dad is dying. My grandfather died. On the way home from his funeral, I got in a car accident on the Sea to Sky Highway and got a concussion. A few months later, my husband, Shane, almost died. He had a heart attack and quadruple bypass surgery at the age of 43. We do not have kids. This whole time we were trying to have children. We were then told we probably couldn't get pregnant naturally. The pandemic happened. They were not testing fertility. They were worried about the world and the disease of the illnesses. That being pregnant was not a priority. So we said, oh, okay, well, you just had a heart attack. We'll stop trying. Well, guess what? Got pregnant, which was very exciting. Unfortunately, we suffered a miscarriage. 3 weeks later, my father-in-law suddenly died after a 3-week battle with cancer. 3 months later, my mother suddenly died after a 3-week battle with cancer. And then my dad died the same year as my mom in the same week, but a year apart. It's really good I chose sobriety before all this happened. And I kept putting one foot in front of the other while working on our first book. And how the heck did I do it? How the heck did I do it? I don't even know, but I do know. I do know some things. And it's really wild to think, like, you're probably looking at me and being like, oh, she's so young. Wow, she lost her parents, she's so young. I'm gonna be 40 this summer, so this happened. My dad died 3 years ago, my mom 4 years ago. Dave, my father-in-law, was like the dad I never had. So I'm basically a vintage millennial who's an orphan. But I'm gonna share with you 5 ways that I really, really, really embrace to get through it. And I've been doing some of these things since before my life fell apart. These are things that I teach people to do. These are things that I do on a regular basis because guess what? Science, who believes in science? Come on, who believes in science? So let's start with a definition. The dictionary is wrong. The dictionary says resilience is the ability to bounce back from a challenging experience, but like, I don't want to go back. Do you want to go back? No. So resilience is bouncing forward from a challenging experience. That's what we define. When I say we, it's like me and the Global Resilience Project and my other personalities, me, myself, and I. But resilience is bouncing forward from a challenging experience. No more bouncing back. I hate that term. Because you know what? I don't want to go back. August 8th, I turned 40. Like, goodbye 30s. You were hard. Okay? And then who here, like, I know there's a mix of you here, and I don't know who does what, but is anyone here a biology teacher or anything in science or bodies. Okay, good, because I made up something called the resilience muscle. And I'm saying I made it up because I started using it, and if someone else uses that term and they made it up, that's cool. But I call it the resilience muscle. And so this is an invisible muscle that runs through every fiber of our being. Okay? We all have it. We're born with it. I almost feel like resilience is like an instinct. It's a natural instinct. And like any muscle in our body, there are things we can do, exercises that we can do to make it stronger. And so this muscle helps us get through our challenges. Because guess what? We don't have a choice. Blair, how did you get through it? I put one foot in front of the other. Like my options were keep going or end it. It's very morbid, I know, but when you have a stronger resilience muscle, you get through it faster. Not fast, but faster. And so I'm going to go through 5 ways to strengthen your resilience muscle. We're going to do a couple activities, and then I'm going to wrap it up. But first, I'm going to share the secrets, and I'm going to tell you about where the project is today. And if you have questions, maybe we'll do questions after, or comments. So I just landed from Bali, so I thought I'd throw some Bali pictures in. I was co-facilitating a grief retreat. Is anyone here, has anyone experienced grief? So it's way better to be warm and sad than cold and sad. And like if you can be warm and sad in like a cool place like Bali, go. It's very far away, very far. So I'm going to talk about a gratitude practice. This is a moment, we went to a waterfall, and I took a moment to just like reflect on like, wow, I'm really grateful. Like, look at my life, it fell apart, and then I put it back together in a really beautiful way. You know the saying, like disco balls, like they're basically as many pieces of broken mirrors, and they're all put together and they shine light beautifully. That's not the quote, but something like that. So the science of gratitude. I did not make this up. I'm not a scientist. But I'm a human, and I'm a researcher, and I was going to a retreat in 2016, so I've been doing this for 9 years. I watched a video. It was a TED Talk by Sean Achor, and has anyone heard of Sean Achor? He is the happiness advantage. So I watched this video, and essentially what I learned was that if you practice gratitude every single day at the exact same time, and you do this for at least 21 days, your brain rewires to see the world in a more positive way. I was like, okay, this is before my spiritual awakening, and now I'm a proud woo-woo Jew. I'm a woo Jew. But I was like, that sounds easy and free is my favorite 4-letter F word. So you know what I did? I pulled out my cell phone. I decided 9 o'clock is the perfect time to do this at the end of my day because I go to bed early. And I'm going to set an alarm, and I'm going to call it the gratitude alarm. And it's been going off every single day since then. Every single day. And what I love about this is that it works. And the more detail you put into that practice, the better. Yes, I'm grateful for my family, but maybe something specific happened. I'm so grateful today that my sister sent me that good luck for your talk text. It was the motivation I needed before I got on stage in front of, a whole bunch of people I don't know. The more detail, the better. My mom learned she had cancer, was told she'd be okay. She didn't even make it to a biopsy. She went into the hospital in pain, and they said, Sharon, your body is covered in tumors. You have 2 weeks left to live. She died 3 days later. So the day before she went to sleep her final time, me, my sister Alana, and my mom were sitting around doing our gratitude. My sister went, I went, and then my mom went. On her deathbed, literally says, I'm grateful for you, you, and you. And me and Alana are like, who's the third you? And she said, me. Those were some of her final words. My dad passed away, and he passed away on February 18th. Being Jewish, 18 is a lucky number, at sunset on Shabbat. It was very spiritual and also very sad. That night, my family and I stood around practicing gratitude. We were grateful my uncle made it in from Vancouver to be with his brother. We were grateful that we can all be together. And we were grateful my dad was no longer suffering, because he was suffering. There's always something to be grateful for. So I invite you to set a gratitude alarm. 21 days, that's all I ask. And it's also like really fun to do with friends and family. Shane is a ski rep, so we travel separately a lot. We'll text each other. Texting him in Bali was funny because like 9 o'clock is not 9 o'clock. In fact, the grief retreat I was leading, everyone set a gratitude alarm, and now we're all back in our own time zones all around the world, and we have a chat going, and everyone just sends their gratitude at 9 o'clock. It's a really beautiful practice. So, let's go to the next one. Oh, I spelled forest wrong, but that's okay. I'm bad at spelling. So, who has heard of forest bathing? Forest. Forest. Who would have thought? Okay, so when you go outside, and if you spend at least 10 minutes outside in green spaces, so nature, which we're basically in, you guys are very lucky to live here, all you need is 10 minutes. What happens is your nervous system starts to relax. Your immune system starts to become stronger. Your anxiety and stress start to reduce. Who here has heard of the waterfall effect? Okay, so negative ions, I know the word negative is in it, but I'm just reading this because I want to make sure I got this right. But so the waterfall effect is when water hits water. So like waterfalls, the ocean. Who here goes to the ocean? You have no reason not to, it's right there. So basically when water hits water, negative ions are created. And that's good for us. So when we're near waterfalls, the ocean, rivers, what happens is that these negative ions help us regulate our sleep patterns. They influence our mood regulation. It reduces stress. And it boosts our immune system. Who here feels stressed out? Okay, so should we go to the ocean? Yes. So I start every single day, most of the year, with a 45-minute walk. I call it a hike, but it's a walk. I live in nature too. When I'm traveling, even if I'm in an urban center, I go for a walk. Who here has that as part of their daily routine, at least 10 minutes outside walking? Amazing, so like half of you. A very simple way to help you feel better, make you more resilient, reduce your stress, help your immune system, and all sorts of other things is getting outside. 10 minutes, that's all you need. So my invitation for you is to do that. Go outside. And I'm sure there's a break. Maybe I'll even finish early and we can all go outside. Okay, fueling your mind, body, and soul. So I'm not a nutritionist. I don't need to give you eat your vegetables talk. First of all, we are plants. We're like house plants. We need to drink water, like real water, not just bubbly water, not just coconut water, not beer. Okay, who here drinks water? Okay, my husband doesn't. I'm like Shane, bubbly is not water. SodaStream is close, and so I have him on coconut water, but he's like, I don't like water. I was just with my friend in Bali, and she's like, I drink juice. I'm like, that's not water. She's like, well, I don't like water. Okay, whose plant is gonna survive? Me. Okay, so let's talk about something. What you put in your face holes matter. Okay? What you put in your face holes matter. We know, we gotta fuel our body, we gotta drink our water, we gotta eat healthy. If we eat, I'm addicted to Milk Duds. Yeah, and also cookie dough, raw cookie dough. Sometimes I just buy the Pillsbury tube and it doesn't make it to cookies. It never does. And if I have intentions on it and my husband opens it, I'll have to take a bite of the tube. But that's okay, because I also drink water and eat vegetables and I try to have protein in every meal. But what do you listen to? Are you listening to a toxic news cycle over and over again? Are you watching the news and getting angry? Guess what? You don't have to watch the news. You don't have to listen to the same speech by the new government over and over again. You actually get to control some stuff that you do. Do you have a TV show that just triggers you? When my mom died, I had to stop watching one of my favorite shows, Grey's Anatomy. My sister used it as her comfort show, and I just couldn't watch it. It triggered me. Who else likes The Real Housewives? Okay, you don't have to, okay, I'm like, you don't have to admit it, but I love it. I love Bravo. I actually had to stop watching it because everything you do is an energy exchange. And they fight. They fight. And that was toxic. I had to actually cut that out in my deep, deep grief. I'm back on it now, don't worry. I'm back on it, but I cut it out. So what did I do when I needed to lie on the couch for 10 hours a day? Because I couldn't function, like everyone died. I ordered cookie dough blizzards because I moved to a city with delivery, and I was like, oh, this is cool. You just press buttons and food arrives. Whew. I watched a lot of my comfort shows, Friends and Sex and the City, and some Big Bang Theory. Okay, music. My husband and I, our first date was to a metal show. I like stoner rock, metal. I also love my hip hop and my, pop. Like, I like it all. Country is kind of new. But we listened to a lot of heavier music. I actually had to cut out some of the music. It was too angry. It was too angry. So I had to listen only to music that brought me joy. I found some good lo-fi playlists, soothing music that made me feel good. You should be able to feel, and if you don't, that's okay, you can work on it. But if something makes you happy or something kind of like makes you kind of closed in, like, oh, that hurts my head, what you read matters, right? Maybe you read a lot of, crime or like science fiction. Maybe that's not what you need, or maybe that is what you need. So what you listen to matters, what you watch, what you read. Smells. Oh my gosh. I always have essential oils burning. I have certain ones that help calm me down, certain ones before bed. Candles. I like getting up in the morning, lighting candles, journal. I have a whole morning routine. We're going to talk about that in a second. But what you put in your face, holes matter. Okay? So remember that. If you're watching something and you're like, I don't want to watch this, this isn't bringing me joy, stop watching it. Also, this isn't political, but like I'm Jewish, and once October 7th happened, I was getting a lot of death threats, because I'm kind of a bit of following on social media. So I kind of unfollowed a lot of accounts. I also stopped watching some news. I got updates from my sister when I needed to know. During COVID, that's when everyone died. Before the vaccine, actually, is when my mom died and Dave died and the miscarriage happened. And the news from the pandemic was just so chaotic. I actually had to stop watching it because my focus was on trying to survive. It's okay to not always watch the news, because if something big is happening, 800 people will tell you, right? So like, if the news is triggering you right now, you don't need to read it or watch it all the time. Like the 5 o'clock news in our house, my husband is not allowed to put it on if I'm home. We also have a TV in a lot of rooms, so like, go elsewhere. Sleep. Who loves sleep? Okay, this is the most important. Don't compromise your sleep. There's lots of studies out there. Everyone's like, trying to biohack. You know the term biohack? It's like where you're like basically using different science to, work on your physiology, your brain, your body, reverse age. There's all these research studies out there, and everything comes back to sleep. You can't really compromise on your sleep. Who here sleeps maximum 5 hours a night? Oh my gosh. Okay, 6, 7, 8, 9? Oh my God, yes. You don't have kids, right? Me neither. 10? Whoa! You win. Did you just wake up? Yeah. Okay, so I know that I need 8 hours of sleep, and again, I don't have kids, so my life is a little different than some people I know. But don't compromise your sleep. You need sleep. Your body heals when you sleep. Sleep regulates your nervous system, it increases your immunity, it reduces anxiety and stress. When you have anxiety, it's hard to sleep, and when it's hard to sleep, you have anxiety. It's a vicious cycle. So what can you do to improve your sleep? Who watches TV before bed? Who scrolls before bed? Okay, I'm going to tell you what I do. First of all, the first thing I did, I was doing some healing, alternative healing, and I had this epiphany about how I start my day matters. My day starts the night before. So I have an alarm clock that's a sunrise alarm clock. My phone doesn't come into my room. So I don't wake up with a jolt. I don't wake up to music. I actually wake up naturally because the sunrise alarm clock, and I bought the cheapest one on Amazon, not the Hatch or all those other ones. Like, I just found the cheapest one. And I wake up to a sunrise. I don't check my phone. I journal. I move my body. So I go for my hike, my 10-minute to 45-minute hike. If the weather's really bad or it's like the peak winter, I get on a spin bike or do some yoga. I have a candlelit bath. Sometimes I hot tub. But I have a candlelit bath and listen to meditative music. Generally, this is all before 7. Yes, I start my day off with a bath. And then my evenings are really important. I do my gratitude, and then I generally try to stop checking my phone. The last thing I see at night should not be my phone. The last thing you see at night should not be your phone. And sometimes it is. Like, I'm on vacation. I'm not on vacation. But I'm here, so like the last thing I see is my phone. But generally the best way to avoid that is not having your phone beside your bed. Who keeps your phone overnight in a different room? Oh good, you all have homework to do except for 6 of you. So watching TV before bed is also not very good. What can you do to improve your sleep hygiene? So my husband and I have been together for 14 years. He's a type 1 diabetic, which means he has an insulin pump. Does anyone know? So it beeps if his blood sugar is climbing, it's dropping, he needs to change his insulin, all the things. There's all the beeps that mean all the things. He also has sleep apnea, and he does not have a CPAP. So we tried something a few years ago, and it made my life so much better. We sleep in different rooms. When it first happened, he went to one room and I was in the other. We woke up the next day. I was like, Shane, how did you sleep? He's like, so good. I'm like, me too. So we have sleepovers on the weekend. He also likes to watch TV before bed, and I don't. That's how he needs to fall asleep. His nervous system is different than mine. I hate falling asleep to the TV. I want to go to sleep. I just want to close my eyes and go to sleep. So that's one way I protect my sleep. Sometimes, like traveling, we have to share a bed. What do? I have an eye mask. I have earplugs. So there are things you can do to improve your sleep. So what can you do today to improve your sleep? Do you need more sleep? Some of you do. You don't. Can you go to bed earlier? Like, what are you doing that's getting in the way of your sleep? Are you getting into bed and scrolling on social media for an hour? Are you obsessing over the news? Are you just, I don't know, mindlessly doing something where actually you could be going to sleep? And in the morning, do you wake up, hit your alarm, and get up and go? Or do you ease into your day? What alarm did you say?
I haven't used one in over 40 years.
Do what he's doing. He has an internal alarm. And once you start doing the same thing every day, your body like just gets in that habit. It's so nice not waking up to the sound of an alarm. It is so nice. Imagine just waking up naturally every day before work, and then also having time to enjoy your hot beverage in the morning, maybe go for your 10-minute plus walk by the ocean, since we all need to do that. You're in control. Tell your story. Okay, so I'm not here to be like, get a therapist, tell your story on stage, but I'm here to tell you don't keep it in. We all have a story. We all have hard things we've navigated or navigating or will navigate. Probably all of those. If you push it down and you keep it in and you don't process it, it's gonna come out. It might come out as an illness. It might come out as an injury. It's gonna impact your health. You have to process what's happening. Maybe this is getting a therapist, or counselor. Maybe it is going and getting a journal. There's a whole bunch of notebooks out there, and it's just about writing. And we're actually going to do an exercise on this. Maybe you just admit to someone you love what's going on, so you're not keeping it in. Maybe you start with acknowledging your feelings and not pretending you're okay when you're not. But telling your story is so important. There's this really cool phenomenon called neural coupling, where when I'm sharing a story, my brain is synchronizing with you who's listening to my story. And when that happens, that's needed for empathy, and that builds emotional resilience. And let me tell you, we need emotional resilience. And it's okay to feel your emotions. It's okay to cry. It's okay to laugh at weird times. It's okay to not be okay. So, the book that my dad and I were working on didn't come out in time for him to see it. It took about 3.5 years to come out because people kept dying, and it was hard to get a book out. So the book came out, became a bestseller, and what I realized was that we started a global movement. We started a global movement. We launched a podcast, a clothing line. I became a motivational speaker, a writer. We became a social enterprise, partnering with various organizations. We helped open a children's center for at-risk youth in Ghana. When I say we, it was me. It was more my midlife crisis, where I just was like, I need to do something with my life. I'm not having kids. I want to help. And then what I realized was all this helping was helping me heal and helping you heal. And so the community has gone on to win awards, and we're growing. We're doing all sorts of really cool things. We're working on 2 books right now. One book is a book of tattoos and the story of resilience behind the tattoo. The other is a collection of stories of resilience. You can scan that after. This is just a recap. And my goal, our goal, is to empower 888 million people to strengthen their resilience muscle by 2030, August 2030. By the time I'm 45, I want to help 888 million people. Why that number, you may ask? It started with 8 million. 8's my lucky number. I'm born the 8th of the 8th. And then as soon as I set that goal, I had a spot on a local Vancouver TV show with a 14 million viewership. I was like, oh, I should change it. So I added an 8. And then my story was featured on a show called My Story, and the viewership on that bumped it up. I was like, well, I guess I'm going to add one more 8. 888 million people. You're like, Blair, how are you going to do that? Well, today I'm doing it. If you're crying in a coffee shop parking lot, I might ask you, are you okay? And we might talk. That's how I'm doing it. I'm doing it by every time I write an article, anytime I hold space. I do it through future projects. We just signed a deal with a producer, and we're working on a pitch for a TV show. Please send me positive vibes. Where we showcase the stories of resilience from our community. We do it through our published books. Everyone deserves to tell their story. We all have one. It's very healing to share your story. And yeah, social media, our podcast is called the Resilient AF Podcast. And I think what's really cool is that all the things I spoke about today are doable. Anyone in the world can do most of these things. Anyone from any background, any socioeconomic upbringing. My whole goal is to give everyone these tools that we have within us, and some of them just seem so simple, but we forget. So, these are just some of the books. So that's what the inside of our books look like. The one on the table, the Global Resilience Project in the top left, that is the first book, and that's the future tattoo book. So you can just kind of see what we're doing here. AF, what do you think it means? I don't ever define it, so it's up to you. So one of the other, we do our launches, and we've started doing our book launches in New York. So when we launch a book, we do a billboard in Times Square. I put all of our authors up on a billboard, and we do an event. We also hand out our books at celebrity gifting lounges. So before the Oscars and before the Emmys, we're at events with celebrities and media handing out our books. And last time, in a couple months ago, we were handing out shirts that say Resilient AF to celebrities, which is cool because they love these sweaters and they post them on social media and tag us. I'm like, that's cool. Snoop Dogg's manager really likes our shirts. But what's funny is that, who is it that asked what AF is? So I'm going to have you ask your colleagues, because I don't define it, because I know what I want it to mean. But not everyone knows. And I've had a couple people say, what does it mean? Is it resilient and fabulous? Yeah, I'm like, yeah, that's great. Resilient and fabulous. Resilient as foretold. It can mean whatever you want, but it's fun to hear what people think it means. So we're going to do a couple exercises. This one is not necessarily a writing exercise, but I'm going to give you a couple minutes, and I just want you to do a gratitude practice. So find a partner that's beside you or behind you, and if it's easier to do in groups of 3, we're going to take some time, and you're each going to list out loud. You're going to say 3 things you're grateful for, but only from the last 24 hours. And you need to be detailed. Not, oh, I'm grateful for my mom, but I'm so grateful that my mom made my favorite minestrone soup when I got home yesterday from work because I was having a really hard day, and that's a comfort soup. Be detailed. So we're going to do this for a few minutes, and I want you to experience this. So find someone that's near you and take turns listing 3 things you were grateful for from the past 24 hours in as much detail as possible. And go. So we have 5 more minutes to do this. So if the other person hasn't gone, please switch. 2 more minutes. All right. Welcome back to me. Hi, everyone. Well, I love hearing all the chatter. I hope everyone had a chance to share what they're grateful for. I want to invite maybe a few of you up to share what you shared that you're grateful for. Anyone want to come up and share? Oh my gosh, really? Come on. Okay, come on down. There's a mic there. Come on down. So start with your name. Yeah, come here. Come on down. This mic is for you.
Hello. My name is Binnie Park from OIP office. I am grateful for today. I'm going to lead a line dance session. I started to learn line dance last month. I had one lesson, and then, oh my gosh, I had so much fun. And then there's a BCD day. Everybody send out emails, And then I go, oh, I talked to Amanda. Hey, what do you think if I teach? Oh, that's a great idea. Oh, really? Okay, I will send a message. And she said okay, because she didn't know how beginner I am. So I'm so grateful that I get to have opportunity today. And I'm grateful she didn't know how new I was. But let me tell you, I prepared for today. Look. This is from my mother. This is from my daughter. This is from 10 years ago. I didn't know I could use it again, but today's the day.
So she's grateful Avery didn't know that she's a beginner, but she probably knows more than a lot of us. And she's also grateful, anticipatory gratitude for her class. Okay, one other person. Come on down. This mic could be for you. I think it's on. It's on. Oh, we gotta take some clothes off. There you go. Look at that. Nice shirt. Yeah, take the mic. Share your name and your 3 gratefuls.
I'm John Hildahl, Maintenance Mechanic 3.
Woo!
Number 1, I'm grateful for the privilege of keeping this campus running. Number 2, I'm grateful the crew I work with. And number 3, this is good. I'm grateful for being Captain Obvious.
Oh, thank you. I love it. Look at that style. Thank you so much. Okay, you know what? That was fun. Does anyone else want to go? Oh, yes, come on down. That mic is for you. And then we'll do one more, and then we'll continue on, because the next activity is more for you. I mean, internal.
I think that's 3 more one-mores.
I know. I'm bad at math and spelling. But I spelled forest right. I looked it up.
You did.
I know.
I was confused.
I was right.
Anyway, hi, I'm Joe. I'm the family advocate at one of our Head Start sites. I'm a social worker. It's been a real bad 24 hours at home. We had a death in the family yesterday, so it's been rough. I'm very grateful for our dog Hazard, who has gotten it into his head after an incident where he got lost in the woods and I had a screaming breakdown, that if I can't sleep, it's because I'm upset that I don't know where he is. So every time I have trouble sleeping, he gets out of his crate, and he hates the whole time because he does not like getting up. So he gets up, but he gets out of his crate and he just like, and he comes all the way over to the bed and he makes himself jump into the bed and come up by my head and poke me with his nose until I know that he's there, and then he lays down with his head on me so that I know where he is. And he's just decided, and usually the real reason I can't sleep is that my partner's snoring, but he's decided, no, it's because I don't know where Hazard is.
It's time for a new bedroom.
No, I just need to nudge them. It's not that bad, but like,
All right.
he's
then-
a good dog.
Sorry for your loss. Do you want to share 2 more gratitudes?
No.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, this is really the final one. Does anyone want to be the grand finale of gratitude today? Oh my gosh, there's so many of you. Okay, come on down. I feel like the price is right. Come on down. Yeah, so start with your name and list 3 things you're grateful for from the past 24 hours.
Okay. Hi, sorry, my voice is raspy. My name is Rihanna Mitchell, and I am also a family advocate at one of our Head Start sites. Very humbling job. From the last 24 hours, I'm really grateful. I'm grateful to be in this position and to service families. And sometimes it can be hard. For me, it can be triggering. But at the end of the day, when all this chaos is going around, I just think about where I'm at and being present, and just trying to do what I can to just add a little piece into someone's life and just to be a part of the community and society. I also have taken on another thing on my plate, and it's been stressing me out. And I'm actually really grateful that I finally decided to just have a conversation with one of my colleagues, and she just really helps bring me back to ground and kind of get my mind warping again to see how I can really fulfill this new project that I'm taking on. And I'm grateful because it ended up being a really good night. And I'm grateful for my animals as well. I have 2 cats, and they're wild. They're my wild children. And yesterday it was a whole bunch of, everybody's grounded now, no one can go outside because you're not doing what you should be doing, and why are we fighting? We're a community, all this stuff. But at the end of the day, as stressful as it gets, I just am so happy that they are in my life and depend on me because it helps me get up every single day.
Amazing. Thank you. You want to go? Okay, 1 more. And then if you guys want to share gratitude after, share with anyone who wants to listen. We got 1 final gratitude. Come on down. Well, it's okay.
My name is Nelson Lopez, and I'm grateful to the universe. I don't come here very often. I'm an instructor with Edmonds, 5 years, but I come here barely every year, once a year, and mostly for this meeting. I work in Monroe. And it's pure chance, and I think it's the universe. Because the first 2 people I met today, one of them is working also with veterans that unfortunately went through the experience of the prison. And the second person is the Dr. Singh. Normally we don't see very often because, I am very far from here. And I got a free coffee from him. Thank you.
Thank you for coming all the way from Monroe. Where's Monroe? It's sometimes nice to be with all your colleagues, right? Sometimes work can be, depending where you are and what you do, isolating or lonely, and it's nice to be amongst peers. So thank you for all showing up. All right, so it's a QR code, but we'll get there. Oh, the typewriter. So as I mentioned, like I like to write, but I'm not a good speller. I think I'm actually undiagnosed like minorly dyslexic, or it's ADHD. I got diagnosed at the age of 39, so like this year, with ADHD, and the medication has changed my life. And I think I've become a better speller since my meds, because my brain is working at a different speed. But so, who here, as a little kid, kept a diary? So because of my ADHD, I have like a diary graveyard, you know? Get a new diary, write a couple entries, whatever. So when my mom died, it was very sudden, and she was living in our childhood home. And so my sister and I we had to sell the home, which means we had to clean it out. So it was a bungalow, so like 1 story in a basement. And I would say my mom was like a minor hoarder. She kept everything. I found my science projects from elementary school. I made a paper mache alien named Schnickel Mavunschnip. I found him. I found every love note I ever wrote my mom. She kept it in a chest. I found everything. I found report cards. I wasn't very good at Hebrew spelling either. But I found some diaries. And there was this one entry about depression, spelled very terribly. If you follow me on Instagram, I'm Blair from Blairland. Every so often I reshare it, and it was spelled, the title was Depression, and I spelled it DEPRESHION. But what happened was my teachers called my mom into school and said, "We think Blair's depressed." And my mom said, "No, she's fine. She's bubbly and happy." But they're like, "But she's writing really sad poetry." And my mom just was like, "She's fine." But I wasn't fine. But the diary was, you know, am I depressed? Am I Blair Kaplan, the depressed girl? I guess we're never gonna know. But I wanna say that, yes, Blair, little Blair, we are depressed, and we are now managing it and healing. But the purpose of me sharing this was my ritual. I loved writing. It's how I processed feelings. I had a lot of trauma. And I remember sitting in my bedroom, and I would light candles, and I would listen to Enya, and I would write. And so it's how I processed before I knew that's how you were supposed to do that. And it was so cool to see these diary entries. One of the diary entries was, will my poems ever get published? I want to be a published author one day. And I found a book of poetry that I typed out and printed on loose leaf, and I would bind it together and give it as presents. And I forgot about all those dreams. I forgot I wanted to write a book. So little Blair is happy to know that Big Blair actually writes and publishes books. Very exciting. So, but I loved writing, and it was just such a healing thing. Does anyone still have a journal like today? Does anyone have like a semi-regular, regular journaling practice? Okay, cool. So there's a lot of like science behind waking up and journaling. I'm going through a process right now where I do morning pages. I have to write at least 3 pages. But a big part of my healing was waking up and journaling. I usually do it after movement, but I've switched to be right when I wake up before like my brain is filled with the day. So what we're gonna do right now is I wanna make sure, does everyone have something to write with? Because if not, there's notebooks and maybe pens. Prefer you don't do this on a computer, because typing on little squares is different than actually writing. If you remember how to write. Everyone looks of age where you learn writing. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna walk you through a story writing process. Now this could be really heavy. And what I want everyone to do before we start writing is think about a challenge, something that maybe you're going through now, or something that you went through 20 years ago, something that was very pivotal in your life. So it can be, you know, some of my examples would be, I suffered a miscarriage. My husband almost died. My mother suddenly died. I mean, I have a big list. I don't need to go through it again. Maybe it's something simple like, you know, you struggled with a relationship, or something with mental health or physical health. I want you to think of a challenge, and we're gonna write about it. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put on some music, and I'm gonna give you writing prompts. And we're gonna start with, and this process, because we're in a workshop, we don't have endless amounts of time. I'm gonna give you 20 minutes to work on it, and I'm gonna give you some prompts. And I wanna invite you to continue working on this after, if you feel called to. But the way we lay our stories out in the Global Resilience Project is we have people share what their challenge is, the story, how they are resilient, and advice for someone going through something similar. The middle part, the story, might be something that takes you a lot longer. So if I prompt you to move on, just, it's okay. It's okay. So we're gonna go back to the 90s here. We're gonna pretend we're sitting in a rental townhouse. The candles are lit. We're listening to Enya. We're listening to Enya. And now we're gonna do some writing. And I'm not gonna do a bunch of talking, I'm just gonna give you prompts. So we're gonna start by writing out that one specific challenge. This is my favorite Enya song. And what we're gonna do now is write about that challenge. What was life like before this experience happened to you? Where were you? What were you wearing? The weather? Let's start by talking about life before this pivotal moment or period of time. The more detail, the better. The colors, the smells, the weather. How did you feel? We're going to start with before. About how you felt before this challenge happened. What was going on inside your mind, your heart? Walking through life not knowing it was about to change. What was the date? What year was it? What was happening in the world? What were the moments like before you learned this news, before this challenge occurred? What were the seconds like? What was the moment of impact like when you learned about this situation, when this thing happened to you? We're going to start now writing about the specific thing that happened in detail. the moment by moment, the second by second. What changed? What happened? Who shared the news with you? Was it a phone call, an email? Was it you? Was something happening to you? Who else did this news impact? Who else was there?
Storm can shake my inmost calm, while to that rock I'm clinging. Since love is
Are some of us going back in time right now? We have some Kleenex coming, or toilet paper.
how can I keep from singing?
Don't forget to breathe. Be here now. Always come back to your breath. What were the moments after finding out this news like? The seconds, the minutes, the hours.
When tyrants strike
What was the next 24 hours like? The next week,
and hear
month?
their dead knell ring, when friends rejoice both far and near, how can I keep from singing? In prison cell and dungeon vile, our thoughts to them are winging, when friends by shame are undefiled, how can I keep from singing?
If you need a tissue, just raise your hand. I have some. Feel free to keep writing about this. But now think about the months after. What was life like? What changed? What stayed the same? What changed in you, around you? How did you now see the world? What got worse? What got better?
You call me beauty, you are
And if this is something you're not currently living in, if you're writing about something that happened, when did the days start feeling lighter and brighter? When did you realize you were starting to heal? And if you're currently living it and in it, what's life like today? What do you want life like to be like tomorrow? Usually it takes many days to write these stories, so we're giving you the high level, but I want to invite you to use my words as guidance, but follow your pen, follow your heart, write what you need to write. Did you add any tools to your life? What helped you get through it? Who was by your side? What worked? What didn't work? How were you resilient during this challenge? Or how are you resilient? And now let's focus on advice. Because I want you to keep writing after our session. In fact, I want you to write every day, but wherever we are in our writing process. Because I want to give time for people to share and talk about this. What advice do you have for someone who's going through something similar? What advice do you have for your younger self? What do you wish you would have known? And it's okay if you don't have that answer right now. And it might always change and grow the further you are from that moment, the more you are down the healing path. So what advice do you have? And we're going to work on this for 7 more minutes today at this time, and I'm going to bring everyone back. And if you need a tissue, just raise your hand and we have a tissue fairy. Who's gonna go home and start listening to Enya? Do we want a couple more minutes, or do we feel like we want to do some breathing? Trick question. We should all be breathing. I see some of us are done and some of us are still writing. But maybe what we'll do is, if you want to keep writing, go for it. I'm not offended. In fact, I'm honored if while I'm talking you are writing. Please do. But maybe we'll lower the music. We can keep it on, just mellow background. I'm gonna invite you to, if you want to keep reading, go for it. We're gonna take a couple guided breaths. You can always come back to your breath. You always have it. Breath is life. So I want to invite you to plant your feet on the floor. You can close your eyes. We're going to do 4 breaths. One of them is just going to be a cleansing breath, and then I'm going to guide you through the rest. So we're going to do a big, long, slow inhale through our nose, and an exhale through our mouth. Get all that air out. And now we're going to put our breath on an elevator, and it's going to start in the basement, which is our spine, the bottom of our spine. And we're going to slowly ride this big, beautiful glass elevator. We're going to breathe in through our nose as the elevator rises to the top, the rooftop. The doors are going to open to a lush rooftop garden. Maybe someone you love is going to greet you there. You're going to look around. And when it's time, you can't breathe in anymore, you're going to slowly breathe out. The elevator is going to go back down slowly to the basement as you exhale through your nose. And we're going to do that again. You're going to slowly breathe in through your nose. Ride that elevator all the way to the big, beautiful, lush garden at the top on the roof. The doors are going to open. What do you see? And then you're going to get back in that elevator, and you're going to slowly exhale through your nose all the way down the elevator. And you're going to do one more breath, inhale and exhale through your nose on your own. And when you're done, I invite you to open your eyes and come back to the room. So how was that? The breathing and the writing. Show of hands, who was writing out this specific story for the very first time? Congratulations. It's not easy, or maybe it was very easy. Storytelling is so powerful, and especially when you're writing by hand, it's helping you process. And it's helping you maybe unlock things that you put away a long time ago. So I want to invite you to keep writing that story, or writing other stories, or just writing your feelings. And this is my most favorite tool. I've actually been in retreats where I'm leading this exercise, and I have someone start at the beginning, I'm not a writer, to after, Blair, I can't stop writing. I've used all the notepads in the hotel room and the extra ones they gave me. I can't stop writing. And weeks after, Blair, I'm still writing. This is amazing. Writing is so powerful. Writing is so, so powerful. So, before I invite you guys up, I just want to say this QR code scans to a workbook for the Secrets to Strengthening Your Resilience Muscle. So if you want a workbook to kind of help keep you accountable, you can scan that, you don't have to. But I want to invite you up to share any sort of key takeaways. Anything that you're going to start doing from today on. Maybe it's you're setting a gratitude alarm. Maybe you're gonna make sure to commit to go outside for 10 minutes a day. What was that writing experience like for you? This is the sharing portion, part 2, where I want to invite you to let us know what resonated or what this experience was like. Or you can share your gratitudes if that's the easier thing. Oh, come on, don't be so shy. Come on up. Come use this mic. Start with your name and share and if you have questions, just make sure you come up and use the mic.
Testing? Okay, right. So I'm Joe Dugan. I work in IR with Jim Mulick. He's in here somewhere. I guess for me, the thing is, I didn't really realize until now, is the steps that I needed to get past where I was. And in terms of the advice I'd give people is recognize what the issue is, decide what you need, and stack the deck in your favor. And that may take a lot of time. It took me about a year to figure things out and get ready to go. And then just from day one, once you decide what you need, enjoy the process. It may take you a year, it may take 2 years. Enjoy the process, and once you get there, enjoy the success. For me, well, I don't know how much detail you want, but it started with realizing I had a really bad year where I broke up with my girlfriend. That was kind of bad. I was in a job that was just making me thoroughly miserable. I felt like up to that point in my life I'd done everything that was expected of me and nothing I wanted to do. And my solution was fairly drastic. I decided I was going to quit my job, quit my career, change everything. And at that point I decided I'm going to spend a year planning, and I'm going to go to Japan. I'm going to teach English with this accent. And I was going to, at the time, the one constant in my life was a martial art. Yeah, things change. I thought, that's what I'm going to go. I'm going to go and I'm going to study that. And I built up for a year. And this was when the world was going to hell. Band-Aid was going on. What else? Then I discovered that Ethiopia during Band-Aid was a net exporter of food. We're sending all this food. And and so there was a lot of things like that, the Berlin Wall, there's a few other things going on. It's just like, the world's just nuts. I have to do something for me. And I went to Japan, and the very first night, I was full of doubts because this affected everyone, my family, my life. It was a massive career change. And the very first night, I went to sleep, and I had a nightmare, or maybe a dream, but I dreamt that night I went home. And just the nightmare was just miserable through it. And then I woke up and I realized I was still in Japan. I thought I was grateful AF, right? And it changed everything in my life. I learned to be more direct. I learned to express my needs. I learned to accept other people's needs. And for me, until now, it's been life-changing. So that's my story. It's positive. But,
Thank you. Grateful and fabulous. Does anyone else? Who wants to share? Come on up. You can use this mic.
Can everybody hear me? Okay. I'm Chelsea. I'm a lead teacher at Head Start. This is very hard for me. This experience for me has been very eye-opening. I've been divorced now for 5 years, but sitting there writing down the night that I found out about my ex-husband's affair, when I had a 4-year-old and a 4-month-old baby, definitely altered my entire life. Before I found out, I remember my now ex-husband was in the shower, and I saw his phone on his nightstand. And I stood there and I said to myself that my entire life was about to change, because I think a woman's intuition, gut is always right. I just want to throw that out there. And it's been 5 years. My oldest is 8, my youngest is 4. I've lived in my own apartment for 1 whole year, being on my own. And sitting there, and it just, if I could tell my 5-year myself 5 years ago, that life actually, that divorce, that all that trauma, all that I've gone through, my life is really, pardon my language, but my life is pretty fucking amazing now. So, that's my story. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing. You know, when you're in it, it's like, oh my God, am I ever gonna get out of this? Am I ever gonna feel happy again? But you will. You have to put one foot in front of the other. So thank you for sharing. Yes, one more round of applause for that. Come on up. We got a double sharer. Look at that. He comes on campus once a year and all he wants to do is share. Is this mic on over there? Yeah.
I apologize for the second time. My name is Nelson Lopez again. I'm instructor. I work at Monroe. So this year has been difficult for us, not just for me, for my whole group. We are a small group of instructors. And I'm grieving. This is something I haven't told even my own group. Only the dean knows about it. And I didn't tell because, I mean, we've been under so much stress that I want to add one more. I don't feel adding more stress to my coworkers, forcing them to show sympathy or to be nice for things that happen to us. We share because that's part of what we do. And you know, working in a prison makes things harder. I don't know if you have the experience. I've been 5 years there, and in addition to all the stress, academic stress, you add the stress of being in an environment that only few know. And I want to, they don't know, and I don't know if I'm going to tell you, I'm going to tell you about it because I feel that it's not stressful. It's actually, it helping me, and as you said, it may help somebody else. The sharing, but sharing not to provoke more stress or to provoke reactions. Everybody has lost somebody in their lives. Parents, you mentioned it, and in April I lost my mom, and a lot of things after that came out. Which I don't want to get too deep into because otherwise I will take your time. Just let me know if I'm taking more than you expect. And the thing is that I'm grieving, and it's been a hard process, and it's something that when I start sharing with specific people in my environment, because again, I want everybody to know that because we are already under enough stress. But sharing with some people, definitely it's helpful because people that are not directly related to us, there are a lot of mental health people working in that area, people who I met in the prison, officers, corrections officers. Sharing it helps. It helps because you realize that you are not alone going through that experience. And sometimes random things that they say, even if they don't notice, help me. So, yep, sharing. And again, sharing is part of our healing process. And I learned that today from you, and I expect to be able to get that book and read it and maybe continue the conversation. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, and I'm sorry for your loss. Losing anyone is hard. Losing your parents is terrible. That's all it is. It's just very bad. I was going to swear, but the dean's looking at me. We have time for one more share. Come on down. And I just want to say, I'm going to end this a little early, and I'm going to be here if you want to talk, and then I'm leading a breakout after to keep the conversation going. So this isn't the end, it's just the beginning.
I know we're all going to mess with this, and then it will never be perfect for anyone. My name is Jennifer Wilson. I am over in the Clearview building as a consultant, and to set the stage, 2020. I was in my last year of my master's program, and then this weird thing happened. I'm sure none of you can guess. So COVID, and everything went remote. Everything just went off the rails, and my grandma fell. Broke her shoulder and her pelvis. Great job, Grandma. So I moved in with her because school was remote. There was a pandemic, all of that, and it was more than I expected. It taught me that I was a lot stronger than I thought I was. You know, you don't expect to have to help bathe your grandma. You don't expect to have to get up every time she needs to use the bathroom at night. And you learn how to make it work. I remember when we first got her home, her first thing that she was worried about that very first night was, how would I know if she needed help? So that first night, I got a pot and a wooden spoon, put it next to her in the recliner, and said, well, just bang them together. We're in a 55+ community. No one else will hear it. And honestly, when I took out her hearing aids at night, I could play video games as loud as I wanted. No one was going to hear me. But, so first week, that was how we did it. Every time she needed me, bang, bang, bang. She was always surprised I heard it. You know, it helped being the only young person there. And then I got some little buttons on Amazon that made a doorbell sound wherever you plugged it in the house, and it had one around her neck, and I could be all the way out at the street out by the mailbox, and I could still hear it, and it would still work. So then I got to have my door closed at night because I had the little thing in my room. And it meant she did not have to use a little pot and spoon. But it also meant that I could take my classes easier because oddly enough, being able just to know that you will be able to hear, and she knew I would be able to hear. That was the most important thing. But it taught me that, yes, there's going to be a lot of issues, but it's best to just look at how to make it just that little bit easier. The next thing I found was she did not know my school schedule, no matter how many times I'd tell her. I was just in the other room, but she would not have seen me in 2 hours and think that something happened. Because, you know, why not? So I got a little dry erase board with some markers and wrote up my schedule, going, okay, I'm going to be in my room in class for this 2-hour chunk. Please do not push your button unless you really need me. And luckily, all my professors were really cool about it. Thank you to all my professors. But it also told me that I was a lot more ready for the world than I thought I was. So when I did graduate, I had told my mom that I would take care of my grandma until I graduated, because I was like, 1 year, I can do 1 year. Setting a deadline, by the way, is very good for your mental health. I knew there was a time that I could get out. And when I got to that 1 year, graduated, I felt comfortable to move out, and I knew, okay, I can do all of these things that, you know, I didn't really have to do when I was living at home, but when you're taking care of someone, you get a little better about doing your dishes in a timely manner. So, although it was a very hard time, because the night before my last semester started, she managed to fall a second time. I was a cruel granddaughter. I forgot to give her chocolate after dinner, so she went to go get it out of the cabinet herself. Foolish me. But it made it so much easier the second time because I knew, at very least, I could do my skills that I had learned and had learned better how to ask for help. Because before that, I did it all by myself, and I figured out, no, I don't have to. I can ask for help, so I got better at it. So for finals, I got my dad to come and watch her for that day, and I was in my room. I was in the same house, but at least I knew I did not have to get up and run out of there in the middle of finals when they were recording you and checking if you were doing anything weird. Running out of the room might, just might, have caused a little red flag there. So, yeah, that's mine. It just taught me that things aren't ever going to be perfect. All you can do is focus on at least a little thing you can improve every time. And those little things add up. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Yes, schedules, deadlines, boundaries. Boundaries are very important. So, I never thought that starting this project with my dad was going to lead to where I am today, which is a 39-year-old, sober, childless, parentless birdwatcher living in Kamloops, British Columbia, with my mother-in-law, the only parent alive. Well, not with her. I live 10 minutes from her. Very important. I didn't know I was going to start a global movement. I didn't know that I was going to keep publishing books. And I didn't know there was such a need for these tools. And over the years, I've learned that these are such simple tools that we can all really implement. Even one of them will make a difference. And it's been an absolute honor and privilege to be here today to share my story and tools to help you strengthen your resilience muscle. And if you're going to take anything away from today, one, take one of those 5 things and implement it. Put it in your schedule to go for a walk. Set a gratitude alarm. Take one of those things and just add it to your life. And 2, so if you're going to take 2 things away, 1, do one of those things at least. And 2, just know if you're going through it right now, it is okay to not be okay. You will get through it. You're not alone. You have community. You have the Global Resilience Project. You have me. Let us be that lighthouse in the storm. Just keep putting one foot in front of the other. Take things moment by moment because you will get through it. And you are resilient AF. Thank you.
We want to take maybe 10 minutes to do a Q&A, or? Yeah. I know Dr. Singh had something else that he wanted to add as well, if he wants to do that.
Well, I mean, no one wants, does anyone have a question they want to ask me in front of everyone?
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's give her one more round of applause. That was wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. So one more topic. I'm changing topic for a second. When I met with you a few weeks ago, an hour with the president, we talked about the budget situation with the state. And I said, I'll come back to you when I have some more information. And I thought this is the best time to talk to you, just not more than 60 or a couple of minutes. Because next week we are working on the budget for our board for first round, and then June final approval. So we have received some more information. Both houses have approved their final budget for the state, and at the governor's desk right now. We'll see what he does. But assuming what we know as of now, and assuming he does not change anything, when I talked to you last time, do you remember what I said? Of course, we were going to get much less money and all these things, and they were proposing furlough and different things. But the last round turned out to be somewhat better than the first two rounds. So for the state budget, I'm not talking about grants and all that, just for state budget, there's no furlough in that proposal. So, yeah, thank you. Also, yes, we'll lose some money, but it's not as bad as we thought just 2 weeks ago. It's somewhat looking better. So we're working right now. I don't have all the information, but we'll present to the board first round next week. I know Jim and your team, and we are working on that. So what I'm saying is looking better than we thought just 2 weeks ago. Even though it's not perfect, yes, we'll lose some money, but I think we will be okay. All right, thank you.
Alrighty, well, if we don't have any kind of group questions, let's give a third round of applause to Blair. I was doing the math in my head, and I am also absolutely terrible at math, so it took me a while. But this is the 25th year of BCD. BCD started, Odette, my department started as a Title III grant with BCD as part of that in 2000. Odette started in 99. BCD, I think, started in 2000. I'm looking at Vanessa to check me on that, because fact checker, she's so good at it. And so yeah, that 25 years of this event, 25 iterations of campus coming together for talk show panels and days in the park and group barbecues and coming together to sit with some really heavy topics like we did this morning. So I highly invite everyone. Workshops start at 11 a.m. Take those extra, 10 minutes or so, go stand in the sun. I make this joke a lot, and I know it has some negative connotations in some circles, but go touch a tree. Go hug a tree, right? I was watching a video about the importance of hugging a tree, because the tree's not gonna judge you. You might have a bug on you at the end of it, but it's still something solid that you can hug, and you're outside, presumably, when you do it. And the importance of hugging a tree, touch a tree, go, maybe be weird and take your shoes off and dingle your toes in the grass. No one's gonna judge you. But workshops do start at 11, so we have a little bit longer to kind of reset. I understand again that this was really heavy. Some things probably came up for all of us in this moment. So take those breaths, do a meditative practice that works for you. Maybe again, that's standing outside. Maybe that is going and hiding in your car and sitting and breathing alone for a little bit. Do a meditative practice that works for you. Workshops start at 11. Next set of workshops, I think, start at 11:50. Something like that. There are QR codes scattered around with the full schedule for today if you don't have it on your phone, but it is open for us to view without having to log in. And then lunch will be 12:30 in Woodway. Thank you again for all prioritizing being here today. Thank you to the people who are on the live stream. I think that's still going right now, for being able to join in the way that worked best for you. And again, 25 years of BCD. Thank you for being here.